If you've ever dealt with Ethereum's gas fees, you know how frustrating they can be. I mean, right? But what if I told you they're not that complicated? What if they're just like paying for gas on a digital highway? Stick with me and let's break down how this one simple idea makes everything click.
Okay, so this is the key right here. This is the idea that unlocks the whole thing. I want you to picture the Ethereum network, but not as a bunch of code. Instead, see it as this huge, sprawling city of digital highways. Every single time you send some crypto or mint an NFT or use an app, you're basically hopping in a car and starting a journey on these roads.
So, welcome to the gas highway. And just like any car on a real road, these digital trips of yours, well, they need something to make them go. They need fuel. And on Ethereum, we call that fuel gas. And listen, on this highway, every journey has a cost. Sending a simple transfer from one wallet to another, that's kind of like a short, straight drive down the street. Easy. But interacting with a complex DeFi app, whoa, that's a whole different beast. That's like navigating a crazy multi-lane roundabout in the middle of rush hour. The more complex your journey, the more gas you're going to burn. And this, right here, is the big problem we're all trying to solve. You know what happens when everyone wants to use the highways at the exact same time? You get a massive traffic jam. Well, on Ethereum, this rush hour means the network gets super congested, and the price of fuel, your gas fee, can absolutely skyrocket. So how in the world are you supposed to navigate all this? Well, that brings us to the next part. Let's get into the rules of the road. We're going to define exactly what gas is and why getting the right amount of fuel in your tank is so incredibly important for your trip. So what exactly is gas? You can think of it as the unit of measurement for how much computational work any action on Ethereum takes. It's the invisible energy that powers every single thing that happens. And the bottom line, it's simple. No gas, no go. Your transaction is going nowhere. So you're stuck in this tricky balancing act. And believe me, the stakes are real. If you offer to pay way too much for gas, sure, your transaction will probably go through fast, but you've just wasted money. It's like paying for a full tank of gas just to drive around the block. On the flip side, if you try to be cheap and underpay, your transaction might just fail completely, leaving your car stranded in the middle of the digital highway. So why do we even have to pay this fee? The easiest way to think about it is like a toll. The network's miners and validators, they're the toll booth operators. They see this long line of cars waiting to get through. And you know what? They're going to let the cars who offer to pay a higher toll go first. It's that simple. And that's why paying more gets you through faster during those crazy traffic jams. Okay, so how do we stop being victims of traffic and start being savvy drivers on this highway? The good news is you don't have to just blindly pay whatever toll they're asking. There are smart ways to navigate this. So let's take a few lessons from the pros. All right, here are 4 game-changing rules for smart driving. First step, timing is everything. You wouldn't drive into the city at 5 p.m. on a Friday, right? Same thing here. Transact when the network is quiet. Second, batch your trips. Why would you make 3 separate journeys and pay 3 separate tolls when you can just bundle them all into one? Third, choose your route wisely. Some apps are like superhighways, built for efficiency. Others, they're like bumpy old back roads that just burn through your fuel. And finally, and this is a big one, keep an eye on your dashboard. Always use a gas tracker to check the traffic conditions before you hit send. Okay, so you've got the basics. You're a competent driver now. But what if we want to level up? For the master driver, there are actually advanced ways to bypass the traffic completely. Let's talk about finding the express lanes. So here's the difference. The main Ethereum network, we call it Layer 1. That's the big public highway. It's super secure, it's reliable, but man, it gets jammed. Layer 2 solutions, on the other hand, are like the express lanes built on top of that main highway. They work by grabbing a whole bunch of transactions, processing them super fast off the main road, and then just reporting the final result back. It's a totally genius way to save everybody a ton of time and toll money. So what kind of cool gadgets are in a master driver's toolkit? Well, you've got different types of these Layer 2 express lanes, things like optimistic and ZK rollups. You've also got something called gas tokens, which is kind of like pre-buying a canister of fuel when it's cheap, so you can use it later when prices go crazy. And finally, choosing apps with really well-written optimized contracts is like picking a car with a hyper-efficient engine. It just gets the job done using way less fuel. All right, let's pull all of this together. To wrap things up, think of this next part as your ultimate master driver handbook.
These are the essential rules you gotta remember every single time you hit the digital road. Rule number 1, and this is the absolute foundation for everything. Always remember that gas is your fuel. It's not just some annoying fee, it's a strategic resource that you have to manage if you want your journey to be successful and, not break the bank. Rule number 2, your timing is a powerful tool. I mean, it's just common sense, right? Driving on the highway at 3 in the morning is a whole lot cheaper and faster than at 5 p.m. Seriously, just a little bit of patience to avoid that network rush hour can save you a surprising amount of money. Rule number 3, batching your trips is just plain efficient. Combining multiple things into one single transaction is one of the easiest, most effective ways you can cut down on your total fuel bill. Simple as that. And rule number 4, layer 2 is your express lane. When you look at the main highway and all you see is a sea of red taillights, don't just sit there in traffic. Be smart. Take that exit ramp to a layer 2 solution. It's your best bet for saving time and money when things get really congested. And finally, our last rule, number 5. You need to adopt the master driver mindset. See, gas optimization isn't just a handful of tricks. It's a whole way of thinking. It's about planning ahead, monitoring the road conditions, and making smart, strategic choices every single time. So look, the Ethereum highway, it can seem pretty chaotic sometimes, but it's not unmanageable. With the right map and a strategic mindset, you can absolutely navigate it with confidence. You've got the map now. You understand the rules of the road. So the only question left is, are you ready to drive?